Hello, everyone, and welcome to Zelda Speedruns. Today we've got another match of the Link to the Past Randomizer Challenge Cup 2023. We've got brackets round 3. This is a game 3 between alexjas and IConIC. I'm starting with me and Comms Days Tafel. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, Star. How about yourself this morning?
Not too bad. Looking forward to a good match today. Do you want to discuss what move we have?
Yeah, so today we have everyone's favorite, Big Boss. Map, Compass Shuffle, full boss, sorry, our standard boss randomizer. Um, Basically, we have all the bosses have been shuffled around, though we retain 3 duplicates. There are some limitations to where bosses will show up, but we'll kind of get to those when we have to get to those. Basically, everybody's hoping to find an ice rod nice and early and not have to deal with an ice Trinex when we get to GT.
Yep, because Boss Miser can do Boss Miser things.
Yeah.
Yes,
Now
we're going.
Yeah. Now the nice thing about boss randomizer is that this is actually something that is logically considered by the randomizer for item placement. It's done before anything else. So if we need an ice rod, we'll find an ice rod before we actually need it. It's not like randomizer where you can get kind of like stuck into some really nasty enemy positions.
Yep. Yeah, trying to code randomizer logic would be a little bit of a nightmare, but Boss Miser is much easier on that front.
Actually, supposedly for V32, they've gone and like made flags for each individual enemy position in the game, so some of the more unfriendly enemies won't show up there.
That's a good
Sadly, that
change. I don't envy whoever had to go through all the enemy positions because there's a lot, but good on them.
oh, I believe it was Can doing some wonderful work.
Actually, first bottle here on the Uncle chest, not bad. And the heart piece is okay, I guess.
Yeah, um, hoping for some better triples. Of course, you get a glove, and we don't have bombs to go check escape, so we're probably just gonna head for the village.
Yeah, we'll have to do the back escape on another safe foot.
Yeah.
Since our first triple there was some money, which isn't bad. They'll be able to go and buy bombs with that, but yeah.
Tier 1 of blue rupees is kind of like, you're not.
Yeah.
It exists. You're not going to be abusing it. Interestingly, so we're going to get a little divergence here. IConIC's going to go check Lumberjack, it looks like. Try also, to get a little more money and actually manage to pull a full magic off of one of the Buzz Blobs, which early on is really nice, even if we already restored like half of it using Uncle.
Yeah. Some more money for Alex in Lost Woods. Lumberjack Ledge here is a heart piece, so we don't need that, and another heart piece in Lost Woods. Okay.
Yeah.
Bush Crab was just single green rupee, so that's even worse than the tree pull. Not helpful.
Yeah. I mean, the good thing is that somebody in chat's a nice bottle. The good thing is having a bottle before you go to the CAC the first time means you get to knock out sick kid and not have to worry about it for the rest of the seed.
Yep, because otherwise that can be a very annoying check to get back to, depending on item placement and routing.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's also not a full golden bee, or else we'd be able to return to the bottle vendor for 100 rupees and basically pay off for our check there.
Yep.
And Alexjas with no bombs is opting to skip the well. All the the 3 things that require bomb checks. Not the worst thing in the world, but it's probably going to end up having to buy bombs.
Looks like it. Heart container from the back of the bar, and well, more money from Sick Kid. Thanks.
Yeah. Well, I won't say no to. Given the fact that we're pretty rupee starved at the moment. No, he won't give you the money. This isn't the right type of bee, IConIC.
Yeah. Do you recognize that iconic sprite, by the way?
IConIC sprite is Freya from Final Fantasy IX.
Nice. Not one of the Final Fantasies I know much of anything about, so I hadn't recognized it.
Yeah, IConIC is going to play the outs here and see if he can pull bombs from.
And does.
Yeah.
As well as a sword, which is nice.
A sword, a single arrow, and some bombs. It's actually not too bad.
No, that's not too bad.
This will actually end up working out pretty well for Oh yeah, 300 rupees. So going YOLO for a Blind's Basement is going to work out pretty well for IConIC here.
Yeah, well, it does also mean that 400 does also mean that they will both be able to afford the bottle finder, which is also one of those checks that if you just don't get early money can be an issue. Or bombs, 50 bucks in the flute to hear in the well for Alex. Okay then.
Yeah, that's actually the money in the flute there is actually kind of nice. Um, this is interesting. Like from like an optimization perspective, I guess Alexjas is looking to Alexjas, sorry, is looking to go do South CAG after this because otherwise you would kind of want to save and quit out of Blind's house, especially if you got the flute. You
Mhm.
could go pay the bottle vendor, go activate the flute, and then go do into Blind's Hut, and then maybe flute back to check South of CAC later. But
Mm.
that's like minorly, so minorly optimal that I don't really care.
Yeah. Also, bottle vendor giving us a fairly dreadful return on investment. Pay, get 20 rupees back. No thanks. That said, we've got a glove, we've got flute, and we've got sword in a bottle. No, fairly dry start. Not especially interesting.
Yeah,
And
yeah. No, one of the things we should say, I should have also said about this month because we have map shuffle on, we don't actually know what our dungeon prizes are.
nope.
So some of the pull to dungeons may be held off a little bit until we can find some maps and compasses.
Mm-hmm. Blue boomerang in the dam, which, well, it's technically a major item, but it's not much good for anything particular.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice for stunning Gibdos if we're kind of still sitting with like fighter sword, but that's kind of about it.
Yeah,
Um,
Iconic is going to do the South of Cac checks. Library is the next bottle. We will not be picking that up.
yeah. Now compasses in this mod, like Alexjas is picking up, are actually kind of important. Um, yeah. And now, and Iconic also sees one that's on Lumberjack. We'll actually go back to get it because this will let us check our check our bosses using the map without having to face check them. So this can actually save quite a bit of time.
For
I'm
sure.
at, yeah. Now I'm actually kind of surprised Iconic didn't like um go grab this, given that both maps and compasses have like extra importance in this mode, and they're both in the overworld. So especially with kind of like dry how everything's going, this is like probably something that isn't junk.
A
Um,
Moon Pearl for Alex there in Mini Moldorm Cave.
yep.
And the
Well,
Fire Rod. And more money.
yeah. Well, we got our ice rod, but not our ice rod. We got the compass dice palace. I
I
missed
was
which
going to
one was
say,
the
I don't
command.
think I failed IDing the. I'm really bad at telling the routes apart for some reason. I
Yeah.
think that's a Fire Rod.
Yeah.
Totally missed Desert Ledge, but Iconic is now checking out Agina here.
Yeah. It was just a hard container, which by the time we have to get around to it, probably won't be that important.
No, I doubt it for these runners. And
Like if we.
Agina was not. Well, okay. Compass to GT, not worth the detour.
Well, now we know that Agate 2. Ooh, okay. Now we know that Agate
Well,
2 is on the top of GT.
yep.
Uh, that's the mirror at Vice Rod Cave.
Yes, it is. That's the. Okay, we're gonna see a fake flipper here first. Lex does have 817 rupees, so can't
Yeah.
afford Zora, has a Moon Pearl. This is fine, but I was thinking that the mountain access is gonna be a thing with that mirror and flute now. Not like I could get up there with the flute already, but I can't do much of anything with that mirror or hookshot.
Yeah, well, we can beat Hero. That's about all we can do, presumably, as long as it's the right type of boss.
I was going to
Um,
say, depending on the boss, Compass to Meyer for Iconic and Back of Escape.
to be honest, no, actually, we could beat we're going to be able to beat the boss in Hero no matter what. Um,
Uh, You're correct, yeah, actually, because the Moldor Marinas are some of the most restricted arenas in the game, and I think all of the ones that can fit in that room are killable with Fighter Sword. It might not be fun, but you can do it.
Fighter Sword and Fire Rod will basically take care of anything in there.
Uh,
Argus can't appear there, or Trinix can't appear there, but you could get a Coldster there, but we can kill Coldster.
It can. Again, might not be the most amusing thing to do, but doable.
Yeah.
And not just bombs and Zorlide, so we will not have to worry about that. There was a red meringue on the Waterfall Ferry, and game. Why is that a lamp?
You know, you don't hate to see that. I mean, realistically, all the lamp does for us right now is it puts a lot of it'll put realistically, like, that puts Darkross on Logic. That also puts the Eastern Palace Big Key in Logic. We can't get to the Eastern Palace boss because there's still Igor's in the way. So this map, this compass on the okay, so we Swamp Ice and Mire, we should know the bosses before we get there.
Those are good, because those are some of the bosses that are a little bit harder to get to.
Yeah.
Yeah. What? Twin Lamp and Fire definitely can do Hera. Can rescue the old man as well in Logic with that lamp. And I wonder what our Dark World access is.
We're one sword away from having it.
One sword or one hammer or one more set of gloves. So varying options, none of which are showing up.
Yeah. Someone in chat is asking, what is the bunny sprite? So the bunny sprite for IConIC's for IConIC would be Freya without her Dragoon armor on, which looks kind of like a mouse because she's a Bermachian, and Bermachians are mice. Very, very dull mice. The good thing is it looks like IConIC is not going to be missing the mirror. That would be a kind of an easy place. This is a very easy check to orphan early on in the game, but with the flute, it's not too bad. Now, it should be also worth noting that the lamp is in Logic because we don't have because we have the glove and we can get to Zora without the glove.
Yep.
Without the flippers. So this will be a little easier for Alexjas to finish because they've got the lamp and they don't have to use the sword to guide them, but it'll be pretty quickly regardless.
So the big deal is just little things, and those can add up in randomizer races. 300 more rupees off the old man. Okay. Lux didn't do. I don't think Lux did Hobo or checked at Lake Island though, so that might be a thing for later.
Yeah. Hobo's always one of those things where it's a slow check to get to without flippers. It's a slow check to get to even with flippers. And realistically, like, you're kind of wanting to push that one check over in the Zord region, and the two that you can sequence break and the third that you can visually check. So I can understand orphaning it.
Yeah, as can I. Nothing on Spec Rock or in Spec Rock, just more money and another heart piece.
Yeah. And especially, like, with having the mirror, you can get to Hobo a lot easier in the Dark World. And you know that the Hobo can't have the flippers, is just the one thing you're going to need to get to it in the Dark World, so you can probably chain that in a little bit better later on.
Okay, so we're going to see the hero play now from both runners, as expected. First check is the big key.
Yeah. Now, this is map compass shuffle, so unless the Hera big key, Hera small key is locking itself, it'll probably show up.
Map the GT in the Hera map chest.
I can't tell if that was an intentional death or not by Alexjas, but
he was on one heart. I think that was intentional before climbing. just so he doesn't have to worry about dying up in the tower, because that can be distinctly unfun.
Yeah.
Speaking of IConIC taking some hits from those Doodles.
Yeah. Thankfully, they are some of the few enemies that can get knocked in pits, so. You don't want to be killing these guys with the fighter sword because it's like 4 strikes, and you're better off just like trying to knock them in a pit.
Yep. Let's see, 20 bucks in the compass chest. Going to set up a bomb jump to get to the big chest.
Yeah.
And mushroom?
Oh boy. Well, you know what? We have... This actually will work out pretty well because we're going to have a fresh restart to be dealing with right after we presumably have to deal with once we beat whoever is sitting up in Moldorm's arena. Now, actually, this is going to be interesting because IConIC is coming in here with a full magic. Alexjas, if this is a cold stare, Alexjas will not be able to kill cold stare. They do not have enough magic for it. It doesn't look like they die. No,
Nope,
just
that's a
Mothula.
moth.
But that fire rat's actually going to come in big here for Alexjas. Very IConIC.
Yeah. Well, considerably easier to be able to hit Mothula at range rather than trying to get up and close with a fighter sword.
Yeah, especially considering Mothula doesn't take fighter sword swings, so you have to do spins. And of course.
Of course, it's the small key
And of
ring
course.
pendant. I guess we can turn that in when we go to the eastern area, given that that's one of our few remaining locations.
Yeah.
Eastern and Escape, the front of Escape being, I think, our 2 main zones to go do. And yep, both of them are heading straight back to the basement.
Yeah. Unlike other modes, you know that this is actually something of importance. There aren't really a lot of item checks left right now.
No, and you do not want to leave this behind in their situation. Our 2 runners almost synchronized here.
Yeah, right now, I'm not sure what exactly... Because Alexjas has obviously done Zora, and IConIC hasn't. And I think they've been pretty much equal in check other than that.
Race Game and Agina for IConIC.
Ah, okay, so that's kind of
Race
where...
Game Library.
Well, Alexjas did Agina, so really it's just like doing the South Akak versus doing Zora.
Yeah, basically. Forgot Alex also did it. Desert area, but yeah.
And really, I'd take the lamp over the compass. I say this as we find out that we have Trinix in the bottom Ice Palace later on.
Yeah, and 10 arrows is thoroughly not worth it. Alex is actually mirroring out to Flute. Different choice of leaving.
Now, I was suggesting that we potentially do this in our first save file because you could save scum this turn if you wanted to fake powder, save the option for fake powdering later. Looks like Alex is not going to bother.
And IConIC's just going to skip it altogether for right now. Okay.
Yeah.
He is going to go peek the Lake Island, which I think is yet another heart piece.
Yeah. Just
and Shroom was useless. Yep.
Yeah.
And front of escape now for Alex, eastern area for IConIC. So we're going to figure out which of these 2 areas, could be both even, has our next progression, because we've done just about everything else there is to do right now.
Yeah, now there's only 3 items in the castle. There's a bunch more in the eastern area because we have the green, especially with the green pendant. So that's just 4 items straight up we can grab in Saha.
Map device, heart piece, and 50 bucks. Saha himself was a green pendant was not helpful. I think it was more bombs.
Yeah.
Now the thing too is for Alex is he's doing this before Eastern, and if he finds nothing there, he then is going to want to go to Eastern. But if Eastern it just gives us a cape or second sword for Aga access, then IConIC can route front of escape with Aga Tower, which may be an efficiency gain, may not. We don't actually know what our next progression deck is. We just know there has to be something, because we're running out of things to do.
Yeah, and our tracker today, Dork, has pointed something out, which is true. Our first check in the dungeons of Hyrule Castle was not the small key. The next two checks can't actually have the small key because of key logic. So the small key is sitting in Dark Cross. Hopefully, Alexjas will realize this. And
I hope so as well.
Not have to do the walk over there and realize, oh wait, I saw that. I didn't see that yet.
50 rupees in the first chest of Eastern is not a progression. And neither is that.
Yeah.
And Zelda Cell isn't it either.
Alright, so it's actually going to probably be the Eastern Palace Big Key chest.
Big key chest or big chest? Big key chest, big chest, or compass? Yeah. Like IConIC technically knows this is that some of these, at least the big key chest is technically analogic with that lamp, but I also don't think he cares too much right this second.
No.
If he finds something important on that big key chest, or if the big key's vanilla and the big chest is our progression, then he just knows his lamp is somewhere available. And there's only so many locations for it.
He'll know that it's probably sitting right at Zora, or it's leading it. Something is leading to it at Zora.
Yeah, because he knows he's out of things to do.
Yeah.
The big key was on compass. That's bombs. It's the big key chest.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see, because he still hasn't done the castle, but he'll know that it's either the castle or Zora that has progression that's leading to lamp. And if you want to go try to maybe push that at some point, because you know it might not be the lamp, it could be the hammer to get over to Paradox Cave.
Could be hammer or even hookshot for Paradox access too.
Yeah.
Nice navigation of the dark room there for IConIC.
Yep.
Alex a couple minutes behind it, getting into Eastern here.
Alright, let's see our hammer.
Nope, Mids. Okay.
We got Mids Dark World access. Now, obviously, like I kind of feel like what Alexjas was thinking with making the play to castle first was, if this pays out, I can immediately hop into Aga, and then I get to go back over to Eastern and Pod and mirror them together. Which is a very, very popular way of routing.
That is true. I actually forgot about that.
Fortunately, it didn't kind of work out that way. But IConIC's heading in for Skullwoods now.
Yep.
Skullwoods Boss Arena could have Argus, but other than that...
everything else is killable.
Yeah.
Might not be fun on this equipment, but everything else besides Argus is killable.
Yeah, the worst probably will either be Helmasaur or actually the Armos Knights in that location.
Yeah, those would be pretty ugly. Half magic helps.
Not so much. Well, it does and it doesn't with the Armos Knights. It takes 6 Fire Rod shots to kill an Armos Knight. So
it might help. We do know, unfortunately, it's a lessened chance of having a vanilla moth because you already saw one.
Yeah.
Yes, a Vidi would not be funny.
Yeah.
You can get a Vidi in that room. And it's one of the smallest arenas, and the spikes really make it a mess. Like, Moth, as we saw in Hera, is not itself a difficult fight. It's the spikes and the moving floor that turn that Moth into a bit of a nightmare. There's flippers. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, now, actually, one of the things that also should be said about this setting is because we do have map and compasses live in the overworld as well. This actually makes Skullwoods a really, really good play. There's, instead of having like 4 items and only 3 small keys and the big key, there's 4 items. So you have a really good chance of pulling stuff out of this dungeon.
Oh, two items in the usual 4 items here. You said 4 both times.
Ah, sorry. Yeah, 2 instead of 4. 4 instead of 2.
Words are hard.
Words are hard. There's
It's
like
acquired for Alex.
Yep. Fortunately, this is a fairly linear seed because Myths only let you into the Dark World at one spot. So
Yeah, so we can't access things from here. It's just that it takes a while to walk everywhere.
yeah,
And that does include Flippers do unfortunately give us East Dark World access for the really long way.
yeah. Unfortunately, this does leave the possibility now for potentially logically required aga and a logically required aga kill to get. Well, there's the Argus.
Well then, not doing that.
Well, anyway, I was going to say this does kind of leave us with logically required aga kills for Hammer in Pyramid Fairy.
Oh,
Behind Pyramid
jeez.
Fairy.
Yeah, I've seen that before.
But I'm sure we'll find it somewhere along the way.
Yeah, I mean, it has to show up. That is just a matter of when. Speaking of hammer, though, hammerless ice barrels is a thing. We have flippers, mitts, and a fire rod.
All right. So that is 3 items out of Skullwood so far. Which means you should stop checking items here immediately.
Yeah, I was going to say that's
So
likely a
this is
small
just going
key.
to be small. The rest of these are just going to be small keys.
Yeah. And yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunate. So the thing with Skullwoods is that though we never ever actually practically require collecting of 3 small keys, logically you need 3 small keys to reach Mothula. So when knowing that there's no big key or small key, not map or compass in the dungeon, Mothula has to have an item.
Map check there from IConIC. We've got a pendant ice today, speaking of that place earlier.
And that's just a hard piece on Vorpal Ledge.
Alright. Don't need that either. And it's going to be a North Dark World check here.
Yeah. Graveyard Ledge is kind of in a bad spot right now. And
Rivered
King's...
Ledge, ready to catfish Zora potentially. King's Tube is inaccessible right now, which is a bit unfortunate.
You have Mets.
Yeah, you're going the long way. I got
You're going
it.
the way that... Yeah, IConIC forgets that you can actually use Mets to not have to go walk through the little maze.
Yeah, it's easy to forget, to be fair. It's just minor time losses.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Alex takes one look at the Arcus and nopes out.
Yeah, so we'll see. IConIC could continue right here. I suspect Alexjas is going to probably go further south, given that they already did the Zora area, so they just kind of have like catfish over in that area. No. Now they remember.
Yeah. And they're backtracking, actually, so never mind the eastern checks. Just gonna head back to the village, it looks like. Also a good play. You can check out Thieves' Town. Check out the village as well. There's a lot of items in Thieves. It's already, especially with the MC Shuffle.
Especially with Boss Shuffle, because... So the thing with Boss Shuffle and Thieves' Town is that you don't have to rescue them. You just have to go walk right into the boss room and check it, which means you can kind of see if you can kill it immediately. It's one of the few places where phase checking is actually not so bad.
Yeah, and Alexa is also not counting Skullwood's keys, so we're just going to see all the checks on them both, so that is a net 0 for them.
Yeah.
Is it efficiency loss? Yes, but since they're both doing it, it doesn't matter all that much. 4 bombs for IConIC.
Now, Alexja's opting to, despite having collected the cape, to skip Bumper Ledge and going over to Graveyard Ledge. So
Where
this will
was
work
the
out.
cape? I managed to miss it somehow.
The cape was one of the rooms was in Skullwoods. Cape Magic and Flippers in Skullwood, Half Magic in Skullwoods. So it's actually been a very nice Skullwoods, and it looks like
Yeah.
that was the map to Skullwoods, and it's a crystal. So we're gonna need a hookshot. Like, well, we needed the hookshot anyway.
We'll need the hookshot. That's not in GT.
Yeah.
Let's see, chess game. Yeah, that's the map. Into Thieves Town now for IConIC. ALexjas2 is right behind. There's the big key.
Yep, that had to show up. I mean, realistically, we can get into the first couple checks of Swamp Palace too.
We can. I'm just not sure they want to without a hammer or hookshot. And last I checked, Hammerless Swamp is not presently legal.
No, it is not yet, sadly.
Small key in front of Thieves Town there, so it does not lock itself. There's the map 2TR. That's a good one to get.
Yeah.
For those who have not seen it, a trick was discovered about a week ago or so to skip the hammer in the first in one of the earlier rooms of Swamp.
Yeah.
Racing Council is still debating the legality of that. I don't envy them.
Because it's basically a very similar setup to like Carapot or
it's
Down, and
it's a rail clip. It's a fairly regular rail clip. Hi, Vidi.
Yeah.
Like mechanically, it's not super different from anything else. It's a matter of what it does in terms of, the racing scene, and routing is more the consideration for the Racing Council.
So this
it's
is
also
actually
not possible to do without a hookshot. Good point.
Yeah, but it does get rid of the hammer entirely, which is the bigger thing, because hammer is actually something like in racing, like it's very hard to skip around in most modes. This is actually like increases the amount of like hammer checks you can bypass by like 5 or 6 times. Not counting like current jumping, which is like the only major thing other than like that one, the Ice Pal's big key chest. There we go. This is doable.
This is slow, doable,
but
it's
doable.
Not... Yep. Keeping half magic helps.
Yeah, the fact of the matter is like you're not having to worry about the poison in this room, so you can get up top and get close to Vidi and start doing it. Now, actually, I think like one of the better strats for this is to try to keep 1 or 2 of the eyeballs alive, so you can just start spinning Vidi without him having to start hopping around. Because if you're standing on the top of this room, he won't actually be able to hit you with lightning.
I was really worried for Lex's health there, but he did buy a blue potion when he went to turn in the shroom, so that works out for him.
Yeah. Ooh. Got a little too close to the lightning, just arced up just a little bit too far, but here we go. He does not take damage to Fighter Sword spin. Fighter Sword slash, you have to spin.
Yep.
This is actually a fight I'd love to do. But usually, like, you should be able to have enough knockback where if you're very good with your positioning, this isn't too bad.
Ooh, nice double spin there for Alex.
Yeah. Yeah, IConIC is not opting to do double spins because those can put you into those can get you trapped in a corner.
Yeah.
So he's playing it a little safer.
Alex has hit 2 I've noticed so far.
Yeah. This is not fun. Vitreous has a lot of HP.
Yes, he does. IConIC does take him down though. Very nice. $20 for his troubles and our first crystal.
Yeah.
Not too bad.
And
I think Alex should be almost there as well.
Yeah.
He comms curse this. Nope, good.
Yeah. It looked like IConIC opted to do a little bit of I believe this was a 5/6 crystal. He did a quick menu check to see if he had a 5/6 or not. So that is a 5/6 crystal. We're halfway.
Speaking of, okay, let's see. I think that was. I didn't.
That looked like a
Yeah.
Pendant Ice Palace and Crystal Turtle Rock.
We confirmed the Pendant Ice earlier from IConIC, and yeah, I was thinking that's a Crystal TR. And I just lost my good train of thought.
Yeah.
Oops. Another map here. This one's to Hyrule Castle. That doesn't help.
Yeah, well, at this point, all the bad maps except for the Thieves' Town map are out of the pool now. I guess there is too. Opting to save the Smith here, completely understandable with the mids and mirrors start the Dark World access. Kind of pretty standard route for IConIC. Probably would expect alexjas to do the same thing. Or
not.
No, set chain doesn't exist.
Alexa is going to opt for K45 here. K45 and Stumpy. And there's a hammer. Okay, that's a location for it. Compass to Turtle Rock. Okay, that's a nice one to get actually on the Smiths.
Yeah. It kind of is and it kind of isn't. By the time we're getting into Turtle Rock, I mean, obviously we're going to need a medallion. We have Mitts and Hammer. So we can't get in there. But I guess right now actually it is pretty good because I'd say normally we need a lot more stuff to get in there, but really we're all actually only and Samaria from getting in there.
And just in broader terms, the items we're missing for sure, we are guaranteed to need the Cane of Samaria. At least one of... Okay, Eastern's our other red crystal, but at least one of my OTR is a crystal at this point since we know of 2 of our 3 pendants. Yeah. So we need a cane. No, we need a hookshot for the Argus. We need a bow. And we need at least 1 medallion. As well as a sword.
Yeah.
Map cave here for Alex. That's $20 a heart piece. The map to thieves, thanks. Map to the pod, that's a bit better, and $20. Not a very good hype cave. Map to pod, the only substantial item in there. And Alex is gonna mirror immediately. Let's see where he goes next.
I'm going to guess we're going to get a nice Palace Boy.
Looks like it, since I'm not sure why else he would be buying a potion here.
Yeah, fortunately Purple just didn't pay off.
Or no, Meyer area check first.
No, you know what?
That makes sense, actually. And Desert, too, while I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, this is 3 overall checks, plus you get 4 more items in Desert Palace.
Yep, and Ether is our Meyer medallion today.
Oh, nice, and vanilla.
Going to go straight into a desert and then go do the Meyer checks after. Presumably no boots, so we'll see what's on the torch.
Yeah, and no boots, and we didn't have a compass for this. This is one of the more painful dungeons to face check, so I wouldn't... Well, we are logically requiring boots for beating Desert Palace today, if not hard requiring.
Because that's a small key on the torch. And this chest is 10 arrows. We're out of here.
All right. Well, if Desert's a pendant, if Desert's a crystal, we are getting boots. Everybody wins. If
I
desert
forgot to
isn't
mention
a
boots and potential go mode items. Yeah.
if desert isn't a crystal, then it's gonna be in GT.
Bravo. Let's see. Meyershed has our shield and the map to Swamp. Nice. Alright, IConIC turning in his shroom. Neither of them are going to be fake powdering today. No sign of the cane.
Yeah.
And is also probably going to buy a potion here for IConIC. Checkerboard cave for Alex is a heart container. Not worth it at this point.
Yeah.
And we're going to see Pendant Ice without a hammer. Well, no, we have a hammer. Full clearable Pendant Ice for Alex.
Yeah.
Detour for Hobo and check Lake Island first, which makes sense. And you're not going to get too many other opportunities around it. And we're not even Hobo, just Lake Island.
Yeah, well, like normally, like I'd be a fan of like if you're doing hobo, like coming from the south, you'd go up and you put yourself back down. But I guess just gonna skip hobo entirely.
Yeah. Yeah, Pendant Ice going to be an interesting play. Also, one of the dungeons that is boosted by MC Shuffle.
Yeah, yeah. So that was a crystal swamp.
Okay, thank you. So we're down to our final pendant being between Desert Mire and TR.
Now Tiara was also crystal, so it's
TR
either
Crystal.
my or so
That's right.
one of our two dungeons in the southeast is the southwest. It's a pendant.
Yeah. Pen gators are fun.
I'm actually kind of scared because realistically, we are just like sitting boots from being able to access pedestal right now.
We
Boots
might
or
be, yes.
boots or
Cane.
cane.
We need boots or. Well, if Mire's the last pendant, we'd need boots or hookshot to get in the door.
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
true. I forgot about getting over the little gap in the very first round. Everybody
You
does.
do? Yeah. You forget until you get in and realize, whoops.
Yeah.
Pendant Ice is an interesting play here because we don't have a. We are somewhat limited on options. We can't finish Eastern. We are boots locked out of Desert.
We're boots locked
Haven't
out of
checked
desert.
Pod yet, but we don't have a bow for it, and it's really quite a hike.
Yeah, it's also and so like without a bow, you're fairly limited in pod. You'd have to potentially burn a potion, and realistically, like without being able to get to Helm Sword, there's only 6 items we can access. A little too high on the Ice Palace bomb jump. Pulled a little too much.
Yeah. But yeah, limited options in Pod, and it's not as much of a hike. Forgot we did just get a hammer a minute ago. Oops.
Yeah.
Same play for IConIC. But yeah, can't do much in Pod. We don't want to go to Skull Swamp without a hook shot. Skullwoods is can't finish without said hook, and then yeah, we're pretty much down to this for main options.
I mean, we still have like what East Death Mountain available. Paradox Cave is a thing. It is
true. I forget.
It's just a thing of like, at this point, like if you want to go up the mountain, you would like to be able to do cave. So everybody's going to cut, and they want to hold out for a hook shot.
Pretty much. Yeah. A map to Eastern, one of the ones we don't need, and Alex is out of here. I'm really, really bad with Ice Palace key logic, but are we hookshot like out of here?
You'd have to do the bomb jump to get yourself to. Yeah, Alexjas ran out of bombs.
Oh, that would
And
explain it. I was wondering why he failed.
And so in order to do anything further, he was going to need bomb. He did.
He's just going to leave altogether, and this is the mountain play you were talking about.
Yeah.
We do also have a couple items left in the back of Thief Town.
There are 3 items in the back of Thief Town. Probably 2 or 3 at least.
We
Has to
saw
be
the
3.
small
It has to be.
key.
It has to be 3. What am I
I
saying?
was gonna say.
There's no map
Yeah, no, we
compass.
saw the small key because I remember commenting on it in his map compass shuffle. So yes. IConIC doing Zora now is not rounding this with catfish, and since he already did the Graveyard Ledge, that is going to be an orphan catfish for him for a good while now.
Yeah.
Gonna pick up this lamp and roll his eyes at it, probably.
I mean, you could avoid it if you want, but it's you still have like Meyer and TR on the table. It's
Yeah, if it's right there, you might as well just go pick it up.
it will help. It will help more than doing fire rod turtles. There's a bunch of things where the lamp, like, you don't need the lamp, but by God, does the lamp make things easier?
Yeah, for sure.
Just some money on the floating island. And yeah, unfortunately, like, this is kind of like really so for IConIC, he's trying to go pick up some stuff that obviously we've seen on Alex's side, but I kind of disagree with some of this just because you could have come in here in the Dark World and gotten Pyramid Ledge.
Mm-hmm. Just to have a little bit of additional efficiency.
Yeah. But this is kind of where, like, he knew something in here was, like, throwing everything into logic. And he's trying to hope that it's, like, something more than just a lamp.
Unfortunately, it's a lamp.
Spiral Cave wasn't anything, so we're going to go take a look at Paradox Cave.
Let's see, more bombs and a heart container. Pretty sure Front of Escape was an absolute snooze.
Yeah.
Just a Paradox, more arrows, Bombos, another bottle.
No, Bombos isn't too bad.
No, heart container and the book. Oh, great. Well, I guess we're going to be doing Ether Tablet while we're up here.
Yeah.
Well, checking Ether Tablet, we can't actually get the item because we don't have a Master Sword.
Yeah, it's still not the worst thing in the world because you're going to be able to just hop down and do Spike Cave, which is another tag that everybody loves to skip.
Oh yeah, because we have a cape, we've got bottles, and have magic, and glove, and hammer.
And a cape.
I mentioned cape already.
Oh, sorry. And, yeah. You know what? Also going to go check out TR Entry Medallion. Totally fair play.
May as well. You need to do it at some point here eventually, so might as well use the portal.
Yeah.
Well, IConIC also buying the bomb upgrade. And, well, bomb boost was required today. Okay.
Okay, so not quite our classic TR key into the doormat situation, but very, very close. What?
It's like, it's in the neighborhood.
It's on the light side of Dark River. The light side of the mountain.
Alright, IConIC does have plenty of bombs, so we'll see if it finds anything in the parts in the right side ice palace, because Lex did not go over there due to no bombs. And we'll see if that is going to bite. And the Rickard tracker confirming that's a vanilla cold steer. Nice, thank you. Which, okay, I guess beatable, and that's fine. Not too much to comment on there. There's our hook shot. Super Bunny Cave.
Of course, it's there. Yeah, you're going back up and gonna go do X-Shot Cave.
Yep. Next, let's see, because from here, Swamp is going to be clearable. You can... Well, still can't get in the door of Mire without Ether, unless it's also here. There's our last bottle.
Yep.
And blue mail. Okay, well, we're really fine on health now. 300 bucks.
Like we needed more money.
And boots!
The boots. Yay! Yeah, Ether Tablet's interesting. You can go B2 dungeons now.
Yeah, we're gonna go do that.
If Ether Tablet's anything, we can always check it with Pyramid Fairy. With Keennet's Tower. If it becomes... That's probably nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting. So I'll have a full pendant crystal knowledge on our sides in a very short period of time. Yeah, so here's where the problem came for Alex that IConIC's about to do. Alex, there was no small key in the first chest, so we have to do the bomb jump in the barrier room to get past the hookshot requirement.
Alright, yeah. My sense of direction's really bad. I don't play ALttPR myself super often, so I got a little lost on that.
Yeah, no, this is a room you don't usually see because usually, with the advent of, especially with like the advent of Icebreaker, this is a room that just nobody routes through unless it's some really weird key layout.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, there's Master Sword.
Yeah, you'll take that.
Yeah. Gonna make boss fights a little nicer, and you do need a second sword for cannon.
Yeah.
I think with how far we are to the CC, our runners should probably know. I'm pretty sure Alex at least knows Master Sword Silverless. IConIC probably does, though I'm not as familiar with him.
Yeah.
That won't be fun, but so they would certainly like to find a third sword or silvers, because Cannon's Master Sword Silverless is really slow.
Yep. Yeah, both of these runners were 6-0 in their groups. They both were runners who managed to hit a bye.
Well, speaking of silvers, Alex, that's a spot. Or not silvers, that's, well, speaking of silver, that's our first bow in Ice Palace. Correction, because I'm a brain fart.
Yeah, so the good and the bad about this is that IConIC is probably going to end up doing Hookless Swamp. But
At
we'll
the
have
rate we're going, I think
but
so,
we'll have the bow. Alex is not going to see that bow for a while unless they decide to go back into Pendant Ice immediately soon. But they're going to go do Swamp and then...
Oh, this is fun. Our tracker Daruk has a substantially better knowledge of Ice Palace key logic than I do, saying that Ice was not hookshot locked, but the boss is cane locked. As that the Tridax? Hi.
There we go. We have a Tridax somewhere. So now we're just hoping Ice Desert is our last pendant. Suddenly.
Yeah.
Because
we don't know where that Ice Rod is.
Yeah. Well, that's significantly better. Actually, that is kind of a boon for Alex in a way. That throws something a little bit harder to get on the route into the mix now. It's like you can go a lot of places without having a bow in this game. But if they take you to an ice ride, then you're not going to be too bad.
Oh, Compass the Thief's down for IConIC, and he's out of here. He is not going to bother with the bust.
Yeah, obviously...
From his personal tracker, which I don't know if it's accurate, but apparently there's no items left in there.
Yeah, no, if Ice Palace was somewhere unlocked, that means that there's a boss. So the only reason you'd be doing it is for pedestal.
Yeah.
And I have the feeling that IConIC is playing for... I'm almost... Realistically, they still need that hook shot, but... yeah, we can actually go beat Skullwoods now, technically.
We can, yes. Well, Alex can.
Yeah,
Alex can.
Yeah. But they're probably going to bet that like they're going to be like hook shot somewhere about it. There's nothing on pedestal.
I'm
Then
going to
again,
see Pod Easter
yeah.
now for IConIC. Gonna pick up his next 2 crystals and see what's in these dungeons.
Now, we haven't seen any duplicates yet. We are allowed 3 duplicates because of the 3 duplicates that are in the Cannon's Tower. So there's a chance of seeing another Trinex or another Argus somewhere.
Yep. First item in Swamp is 10 bombs. First chest of Pod is a small key. And I don't know if we have the compass to Swamp there.
Someone picked it up at some point.
Yeah,
Not
Alex
sure.
just did a map check, but I am completely terrible at actually seeing the boss icons, so I don't know
Yeah.
if there was a boss icon there. I didn't identify it.
I will.
Vidi in Swamp. Okay, thanks to Rook, our tracker, keeping us on track. Second last video of the seed. This one should go a bit better, given our we have a noticeable improvement in our equipment
Yeah.
and health.
Self-locking small key in the pod picky chest.
Yep.
I believe the right side has to be. We've seen 4 keys, so there's at least 1 item on the right side.
Setting up for a bomb diver down here for Alex.
Yeah.
And there's our fire shield on right side pod. Yeah, Alex has to hope that the bow is not bow locked, as there's our 3rd sword between the 2 for IConIC on right side pod.
Yep.
Good for him.
Yeah, and he's probably not going to miss the uh-oh. So opting, I always like this strat. Throw the bomb at this crystal switch, fall in the hole, and then walk yourself over to the side before it falls. I usually only do that. He does. What am I saying? He doesn't have boots. You can't bonk yourself to the back. That's absolutely the 100% right way to handle that. Now, left side swamp, because this is map compass shuffle, these are actually always going to be live checks. Doing it always makes sense.
Yep. And unfortunately, it's got the compass to Eastern and nothing else, and the 10 arrows, so not the greatest.
Yeah, there's the powder in the back of pod.
Oh, that's fun. More fetch quest.
Yeah, now, Harmless Hellway should be a small key. Do not check Harmless Hellway. This should be a small key.
Our runners are not counting small keys. We noticed that earlier in.
Yeah. You have 2 small keys, so you should know that that's not a key, because there's 3 locked doors left.
Oh well. That happens.
Yeah.
Back of Swamp now for Alex. No sign of the big key just yet, so hasn't been able to check the big chest.
Yeah.
There's the big key for IConIC.
Yeah.
And Herpes.
Yeah,
Back of Swamp has the big key and the Hurt piece there.
Yeah. Now this is always going to be a bit of a problem in this mode, because you're going to do the left sides first. If you're doing the left side first. Well, there's some Mario.
Okay. Behind, in the back of Swamp there. Sure, I guess.
Yeah, so realistically, like, Alex's Ice Rod in both. Potentially, and also technically, potentially Ether.
It's Ice Rod or Ether, minimum.
Yeah.
We don't know which of the two. We don't know
True,
which of Desert or Meyer is our last crystal, and we still might need the ice rod for a Trinex somewhere else. But
yeah. So the trick that you're seeing in Swamp Palace that's called Diver Down, it's not quite like Icebreaker. It is and it isn't. Icebreaker is a door state extension. S- Diver Down is a rail clip, but essentially what you're kind of doing is that you clip yourself into the rail and you can trick the game into thinking that you're on a ledge that you can jump off of. And if you jump off into the water, because you're not in the overworld, the water doesn't have like the swimming animation check, and you're able to just like walk on that layer. And as opposed to being able to swim over that layer, it's just kind of like how water works in Swamp Palace.
yeah,
Um,
Alexa is going to go back in for the big chest.
So that's why you're able to like go in and pick up things that are flooded. It's because you're technically the game thinks you're walking, and then you have to hop out of it in order to get across the blocks because those blocks are impassable. Walking, they're not movable, so you have to swim over them. So we just had powder in the backup, powder and a sword, which all in all isn't the worst in Pod.
Now, Pod's also game. The one medallion we don't need is in the Swamp Big Chest. I was going to say is that Pod's on the dungeons. It's harder to go mode anyhow, especially since the big key in this one is in the Dark Maze. So IConIC's not really going to lose much time to Alex on that one.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing of where. If this is the key sanity mode, it's a lot easier to go mode Pod. You just kind of run in and out.
Yeah.
But otherwise,
Alex. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. Otherwise, there's a very good chance you're going in the back because most of the items in Pod are in the back. There's only like the chance for 2 items in the front and 6 items total. So like there's 4 items in the back.
Yeah. And Alexa's going to go for TR here, which from his perspective makes sense.
Yeah.
It's a crystal. It's got it's his densest clearable crystal. He doesn't have bow for Eastern Pod. It's one check from Skullwoods. He's not super inclined to go back there yet. Myers going back to ice is not this thing he really wants to do right a second.
I would actually say that you probably should be doing Skullwoods.
I would probably do it as well, but it is his choice to do that. To go TR, I guess, with density before Skullwoods.
Yeah, no, well, it's less density. It's like more that there's only one thing in Skullwoods. Like at worst, it's the. I didn't see what that was.
Me neither. Rick.
But it's more like it's that, and then you can also take a look and see if you can get. You have book and you have mirror, so you can make your game plan about seeing if something's on pad.
No. Oh, he doesn't have the compass. Gotcha, Derek. Thanks.
All right.
I thought we got the TR compass, but I do not remember where it was. Hi, Helmasaur.
Well, I was going to say, is this even randomized? And then I realized we're in Eastern Palace, so yes.
Pod had a our second moth in it, so we got 2 moths and 2 viddies so far. 2 moths, 2 viddies, 1 Helmasaur, a Cold Stera viddy, and Argus. Red Mail and TR, okay.
I'll see if so now IConIC's going to have an interesting choice if he opts to go to the mountain. Well, that's not a good. That's an even worse blow now for Alex.
That's really bad. Silver's on. Was that Silver's on the Helmasaur there?
Yeah, that's a bow lock bow. Hard bow lock bow.
Yeah. Alex has to go back to Ice Palace.
Yeah. So let's see. IConIC, are you going to go for swamp or are you going to go for the mountain? You're going to go for. Completely understandable.
Yeah.
At this point, like IConIC's probably got a pretty good advantage, unfortunately. That bow.
Yeah, I think so, because that Alexis not having bombs for the Ice Palace bomb jump is coming back to bite him pretty hard.
Yeah.
I am switching audio to IConIC now. Chat, let me know if the audio is too loud, because I can't actually listen to IConIC's audio myself. Unfortunately, it's rather headache-inducing personally, so I cannot check the audio myself without, giving myself a really bad headache. Let's see, Lava Chest here for Alex is the Cane of Burna, which we don't particularly need.
It's our other cane. Alex, you didn't kill one of the mimics. Got away.
Oops. And one rupee here off Mimic Cave.
I like IConIC's kind of way to route this a little bit. He's gonna go do Paradox Cave first and take advantage of the fact that you can mirror through the block. And then he'll be able to walk out, hop back in the mirror portal, and run up Run Cave up to the top of the mountain. And then probably roll his eyes when he gets the hook shot.
Yeah. Yarfo so far has given us red mail and I don't know what else. Thanks for the Desert Compass game.
Hey, now we know where Tronics is. It's almost perfect.
We're missing ether or ice rod, for depending, since we still haven't found the Mire or desert maps as far as I know.
Yep. We need some way to freeze enemies, essentially. We just don't know which.
Yep. And there is still a potential for a Trinix somewhere else, but given that we've already seen two copies of bosses, it's less likely that our third copy is a Trinix.
Yeah.
Laser Bridge here is given as a shovel. More fetch west.
So the hook is obviously, as is prone to happen in a restream chat, somebody asks where the hook is as soon as somebody picks up the hook. It was in Super Money Cave. The boots are in Hookshot Cave.
Yep, you'll see that in a minute here from IConIC.
Samaria's in the back as well.
And hello here. We've got our first set of armor states.
You know, you're not too mad about that King of Samaria at the moment. Not the King of Samaria, the King of Burna.
Yeah, armor states are much friendlier with it.
You can smack them into those spikes, I'm pretty sure.
Especially with half magic, you can just use Burna the entire way. And there we go. Vanilla heart container, and that'll be crystal number 3 for Alex. I noticed that we now have a purple clothes on Freya for IConIC now.
Yeah. Gonna go.
Did you see that? Your tablet.
this is just a map of my.
Oh, we have. I think this is the first time we've seen that. Lex is going to get it now as well. So we're going to get finally our info on our last crystal. And it's a crystal. We need ether.
Okay, so ether on medicine. And ice rod.
Yep.
IConIC is going to go out and do Spike Cave now. Makes sense. We're up here. Obviously, a bit more of a stronger pull to do this than like the one, obviously, like on Alex's up here with the fighter sword, not being able to collect the item from the tablet. This makes it a bit of a stronger pull to go over here. So let's go kind of go see what IConIC's going to do now, because they can beat Swamp and they can beat Skull. But the only thing that's going to be interesting here is they know they don't have to go desperate.
Yeah.
So that third sword might elude them.
Yes, it can, and they are, however, and yeah. So they might not get the third sword. So they do have silvers. Alex will eventually get silvers. They're unmissable. It's the first one that's a problem for him.
Yeah.
Third sword certainly would be nice, so they do have enough equipment that it shouldn't hurt too much, as we're going to see Bonk Rock. Oh, no, King Soon. Bonk Rocks for Alex here. We're going to get that Argus down for IConIC on his side.
Yeah,
and King's Tomb is Bob's.
Now, the worst thing for IConIC here right now would be... pull the fairy out of somewhere. So the worst thing right now is like if Argus is having to slow its big key. So you'd have to like run yourself back through it, but that's about it. Or maybe you don't find it so bad because you want to do the boost checks in the North World after you're done. I don't know.
And
well,
there's Ice Rod.
Here we go.
So on my personal notes sheet, I've been keeping track of every major item on the tracker, essentially, with a couple exceptions, and I've written down every single item except for the ether and our last sword, plus a few bosses.
Yeah, well, we'll know most of them. We'll know most of those. In fact,
we will.
In fact, we will know everything on this sheet except for potentially one sword.
And maybe the GT, and then maybe a GT boss, depending on where the big key of that is.
Yeah, well, it depends if the duplicate's in the basement or not.
And it's a duplicate, yeah. But we are not in no mood. We need ether. Cannot physically get in the door without it.
This will be interesting because potentially, yeah, honestly, with the moving floor, I'm not a fan of menu bossing Argus usually, but with the moving floor, it's still. You should only menu boss Argus, vanilla Argus, if you're surplus. Fighter Sword spins are much faster. But with the moving floor, you've got a lot more to deal with. Because again, the actual boss in Mothula is it's not actually Mothula.
It's dealing with everything else going on.
Yeah. Now I think because of the sprites, this does block the spikes, but you still have to deal with the floor. Yeah, so both runners are opting to go get a required kill now.
Yeah, may as well. Alex going for spin strats.
Yeah, there's the
big key. I wonder from Alex's perspective if he's going to go check the pedestal after this.
I think both runners have a strong reason to.
Yeah, that's a good point. Sure.
They're
right here. They have the book in the mirror. IConIC is not doing it.
IConIC has decided that I'm going to live by the fact that Ice Boss is not required in the sea.
Yeah.
Which is completely fair.
Marcus down for Alex as well. Pretty decent place from them both.
Yeah.
I feel like I might be more inclined for Alex to do that since he knows that he just picked up the ice rod and is.
Yeah, he knows pets
Basic.
and logic for him. Or should know pets and logic.
Yeah, and he needs both bow and Easter. And from his perspective, either of those could be on the ped.
Yeah.
I'm kind of hoping it's on ped for him. Either's on ped for him, I think.
Yeah, that definitely would be like an out for him at this point. And it's going to be just unfortunately.
No, that's not it.
So, realistically, like, right now, like, IConIC has a pretty good advantage right now. Alex is going to go into Ice Palace, find the bow, and probably immediately dip.
I'd expect so with Eastern and Pod Full Clearable, and then also one item left in Eastern plus Pyramid Fairy will be available post Eastern. We have not seen the big red bomb. IConIC's going to do Swamp before that, and Alex physically cannot get the big red bomb right now since he doesn't yet have the bow from here.
It's realistically, like, we have a TR clear versus a Pod Eastern clear. TR and Swamp versus Pod Eastern. Those aren't too bad, but, like, if you're able to, like...
They're not too... Oh, Pod Eastern Ice is the issue.
Yeah, but you don't have to do all of them.
Although,
like,
Alex can Ice Break it, which will help a bit.
Yeah, no, you can Ice Break when you're gonna get the... You're gonna... If you're paying careful attention to keys, you're gonna get yourself out of here. The bow's in, like, one of the next two checks.
I think it's in the U room, which is the last room going through this way, on this side. This is gonna feel a bit bad for Alex though, because he was here, what, half an hour ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Pod Eastern versus Bow, and Alex is thinking about it. No, I'm gonna leave.
Yeah, that's enough to clear 2 tokens.
And so we are still in an ether hunt. We are slowly running out of checks. We have the Trinex and Desert. We have Pyramid Fairy.
Zora.
We saw
Back of
Zora
Thieves.
Catfish.
Oh, yeah. Back of Thieves Town.
Back at Thieves Town. What else are we missing? We are missing a few fetch quests. We only just recently got the shovel in powder, so neither of those have been turned in. I don't think we saw Bombo's tablet.
No, we saw Bombo's tablet. We haven't seen it.
Just forgot. Okay. Yeah, Bombo's tablet, not Hammer Picks, yeah.
Yeah, because we had booked before we had Hookshot for Swamp, so Alex opted to check Bombo's tablet before tipping into Swamp.
Right, thank you for that reminder.
Second.
I'm trying to think of overworld checks we haven't seen besides that, and I'm having a drawing a blank.
I don't know if either one there's some Pyramid Ledge.
No, that'll be routed with Pyramid Fairy, good point. Did we ever actually end up seeing Hobo from either runner?
Don't think so. They both opted to, like, kind of go right into Ice, as opposed to continuing up to Hobo.
Yeah, they both checked the Lake Island, but Alex did so only went up to that on the way to Ice and not only to Hobo when IConIC checked Lake Island just on his way to, I think, Eastern, way back at the start of the seed. Oh, IConIC did Hobo, okay, thank you. Mind that. We did double check the Swamp Big Chest, that was the Quake Medallion, so that's not it. We saw no left TR, yeah, we've seen the Harrow Basement. We're running low on checks for this ether at this point.
Yeah. like Alexa's kind of going to really want to hope that it's that Ice Rod and Bogrex is going to lead to something, because that's not something that IConIC is probably going to get to for a little while. Just kind of with the easiest way to do that now is with the save and quit. With the flute and the mirror, there's not a lot of reasons to save and quit right now.
No.
It's kind of like the one bad off thing with those checks, unfortunately.
Yeah.
There's no good flute spot there, but there is a good save and quit spot there.
Here's the tempered for Alex.
Yep. I have a much easier time with that Mothula. Not that it was particularly bad the first time around.
Yeah.
Because IConIC's gonna go get Samarian, and they're gonna go off and do TR.
Had a report for Alex. They're essentially fairly even on the fetch quest items. The only one IConIC's missing is the shuttle from Laser Bridge, but he'll go down. He goes a TR.
IConIC also has done the first half of Smith Chain.
There's also that, because Alex skipped that earlier.
There's the Crystal 5. Or Crystal 4.
Yeah, it's 5.
5 for IConIC. Yeah, your one item for village.
You know, thankfully for IConIC, that was just a fake medallion, so he won't be hurting for it. Gonna go to Pyramid now. We'll see if he routes. Man, Catfish is gonna be a tricky one to route in, no matter what you do with that. So this might be the best chance for him to route it, otherwise I'm not sure when you're getting back there.
Yeah, you're doing Catfish this time around.
Not putting in spin speed for IConIC there on it's not too big. It's a big a deal. Just 20 bucks in the Pyramid Ledge. And Pyramid Fury gives us 20 bucks and the map to Hera. Thanks.
Yay. Oh, it's gonna show up somewhere.
Yeah, it did have to.
And of course, nobody wants to do nobody wants to do Catfish.
No. It is a really long out of the way check. So I would have done it for my. Well, IConIC does still all of TR left, but we are running pretty low on checks as a ratio, and each runner is starting to run a little low on at least the high density locations. This pod was the high density place for Alex, and he's now basically done with it. And IConIC's really just got TR left for high density.
Yeah.
And then they're looking at what do I do with where do I go for it? What
my
varying checks.
After that, he's got like 3 or 4. He's almost out of overworld checks. He's got like Catfish. He has checks. He has the 2 bonk rocks, the 2 bonk checks, and then Magic Bat. So he's like got 6 overworld checks and 3 checks in the desert after this for IConIC.
I see his personal map tracker for IConIC on the commentary page. It looks like he's also missing, is it hammer pegs over there and Bombo's tablet.
Oh, he never did Bombo's tablet. Oh yeah, he ran right out of it. He ran out of it to go do Pyramid Fairy.
He didn't route up the swamp, so that is also available for him, which he might route with Desert maybe at the rate we're going. Because IConIC has not been back to Desert with boots.
No. I could kind of see a save and quit after TR, and then going to check the bong checks, because those ones are fast.
Yeah.
And then maybe pushing over to do Vo checks. If you get the ice rod though, then I think you're going to make the play into Desert Palace though, because you know you can kill any boss.
Yeah. We do also have 4 items left in the back of Thieves Town since we got the small key in the front.
True.
Which would be decent to route with hammer pegs and, well, for Alex, the rest of Smith Chain. And actually, Alex is going to be our first runner to 6 crystals, but is behind on overworld checks currently, so...
Yeah, so they'll have an advantage. They're going to have an advantage if they can not duplicate what IConIC's done. But overall, IConIC has cleared more of the game.
Yeah.
But really, realistically, it's kind of like what you'll end up last first. Last round first.
Is Alex might also choose to skip some checks, knowing that, like, he never, I don't think he ever did check race game or line words, but I think he's probably assuming those are D3, because if that's the case, he's behind.
I don't think he ever near it there in the check, but I think
he's
you're
also
gonna
probably a
want to.
little grouchy about those, so flashing his sword at that.
Alright, let's see, where are you going next? Are you gonna go do Pyramid Fairy and Catfish?
Definitely Pyramid Fairy. I'm hoping it goes to Catfish. IConIC picking up whatever that was out of the TR lava chests. Bjorna.
Their other arcane.
And this is looking to be one of the seeds where we achieve tracker percent.
Yeah. And shout outs to our wonderful tracker too. For clicking almost every I've clicked almost everybody in this seed.
Yep. To that effect, please do give everyone a follow. You can find our runners' Twitch links there in the chat. Alex and IConIC, also my co-com Tafa, and our checker Daruk, who I need to put in the tracker info on. Apparently, we'll be fixing that in a second, but you can also just see him there in the chat directly. Oh. Discord name changes broke. Nothing I think is why we don't have you on file. Where is it?
And that's Pyramid Fairy done for Alex. Is continuing on to Catfish. Unfortunately, there really wasn't anything in the bottom of DR, so just kind of going to go see. We'll have a. IConIC's going to have a much easier time with the Armless Knights and Silvers than just Burna. So
yeah.
gonna get a bit of time saved there as well. Compass the desert, so also we'll know that he can get in when he gets into the desert that he'll find the Tronics waiting for him without having to go walk up to the back.
And
ooh,
there it is.
Yeah.
That is go mode for alexjas here at just under an hour 29.
Yep.
Salut Klitasham in the chat. Yeah, welcome in. Let's just hit go mode. That's Ether.
Yeah. And this is
And
why
catfish.
you do catfish. Yeah, unfortunately this is... plus with the ice rod, this means that Alex is 100% going to be able to kill... Yeah, so... They are going to be able to... it looks like very likely they are going to be moving on the next round.
Yep. I believe you said that around that Greg is going to be the next opponent here.
Yep. Mr. Link to the Past Rando himself.
Indeed. Alex may want to perhaps take some revenge on his fellow Francophones. I believe Rick knocked out Kefka, another member of the Francophone community, in the last round. Everything else around to go. I've lost some slightly trials track of the brackets.
I'll take a look.
Speaking of the Francophones, I see several in the chat having just finished up an ALttPR race stream of their own. GG's Jubel. Jubel and Yuki were racing each other. I won't spoil the results in case anyone tries to check that out. But Speed Gaming Français just finished up their own race stream, and you can saw the links to the challenge there in the chat. That was TD Chaos versus Rick, as I have apparently, lost track of brackets more than the smidge. Whoops.
Yep, no. Rick did take out Kefka. That was just the round prior.
Yep, mixing things up a bit. The one thing you skip is the Go Mode Classic Rando Shiver. Yep, indeed, the Rick. And it looks like, is this back to Thieves Town for IConIC?
This could be, honestly, back to Thieves Town. Stuff in the North Dark World. So the North Dark World, and then you also have hammer pegs and
Powder.
The two things that sit next to each other. That I can never think of because I play cross keys. I'm never thinking of things in their vanilla location.
Yeah,
and
that's for Alex.
That's a very nice picky location.
Yeah, it's not too bad there in the main room. Having a little trouble with the rail clip.
Yeah, so this is actually, so we were kind of going over, like, I were down in Icebreaker earlier, so this is actually another Door State Extension clip. So Icebreaker and the clip there in Meyer, they basically work on the fact that the game thinks that you're in the door, so it removes Link's collision. That's why, like, being, like, almost in the door is very important to both of those clips.
Yep.
You can actually do it on the other side, the door on the other side, but you're never going to see that. Because you can get yourself soft locked.
Yeah, that would be something good to avoid. As we wrap up the seed here, for those who are just joining us, this is a McBoss seed. You can tell from the boss icons and the trackers. Main trolls here, Bow and Pen and Ice Palace. It's probably the big one.
Yeah. Well, that and progression on Catfish.
Yeah, progression on Catfish, because we didn't know what our final crystal was for a while. It was either Ether. It was either Meyer, which is Ether locked, off with Ether on Catfish, or Desert, which had a surprise Trinex in it, and Ice Rod was on Bonk Rocks with the boots, and the boots were up in Hookshot Cave, with Hookshot in Super Bunny, so that took a little bit to get to.
So we are going to take a look and see what's in the back of Skull and the back of Thieves Town now. Hopefully it's the Forked Sword.
Yeah, and we've got our mind here in Meyer for Alex.
Yeah.
So we are missing a Landmos, see, what are we missing? We're missing a Landmost, we're missing Moldorm, and one repeat for GT.
Yeah. So Moldorm is
2
is
might
probably
be
Moldorm.
vanilla.
Yeah.
Because we've already seen both two moths and 2 viddies, which significantly limits what bosses can be on that Moldorm 2 arena.
Just 10 arrows on top of Thieves Town.
Yep. And $20 after viddy. And it's time for a little game. Do you want to go over it?
Please. So in Ganon Space, there are 22 possible locations for the Ganon Star Biggie to be. Please place a number in chat, 1 to 22, on where you think that will be. We will be going off of, obviously, Alex's stream, because they will be going into GT. So whoever wins, wins. Do you have a guess star? Because usually I guess 9.
Mine is 14.
And, hey, guess what?
Sorry, yes,
We have seen the Final Sword.
oh yes, I kind of just found that. Oops. And with that, I think we found every major item in the game, including all 3 shields and both boomerangs.
Yep.
And all of the fetch quests. Not sure if IConIC will actually be able to hit full tracker percent before, or close to it. About the only thing we're not marking is angle 1.
No, because they've skipped they'll do catfish before they go back and get Quake out of the swamp.
Yeah, good point. Also, I think missed the red meringue off Waterfall Fairy looking at the tracker. Well, no, personal tracker has its region tracker doesn't. But yeah, gonna have just about everything except Quake.
Yeah, because they're heading for catfish now.
Yep. Can we get Landmost on ice? While I'm thinking about it. Guesses are over.
I don't think there's really a restriction on the ice room in general.
Yeah, I don't think there is.
I mean, as it stands, like, we're probably going to get. It does feel like we're going to have the top 2 even.
Yeah, that's what I'm feeling as well. Since there's very few bosses you can get up on that Moldorm 2 arena, and 2 of them, Viddy and Moth, are straight out, because we've already seen repeats of those 2 bosses, so we know that can't be it.
Yeah. Alex doing what I think is one of the better routes for this, which is to do DM strats. Kind of trying to push off doing the boss as long as possible, even if it is technically a Trinex, and we can beat Trinex. Ice Trinex is one of the worst fights in the game, even if you have Tempered Sword.
Yeah, it is.
And IConIC has got in there, ether off of Catfish, and is now in Go mode. Probably does not like that, because they were at Pyramid and they could have skipped a whole bunch of stuff just a couple seconds ago.
Yeah.
At least for them, they have managed to get a Tempered Sword, so they're not going to be hurting in that regard.
Nope. Let's see. 8, 9, 10, and 11 is the map to Desert. Thanks, game.
Yeah, now, of course, the fun fact is that logically, in Key Sanity modes, there's actually an extra, there's a hidden value to compasses and maps. They do have a little bit of extra logical importance in Key Sanity mode in non-entrance rando, just so they don't end up in the junk pool in GT. The only way they end up in the jungle in GT is if you were never supposed to meet them in the first place.
Yeah, the map and compass have to be logically available before you beat the boss.
Well, logically, technically not before you beat the boss, before you can collect the crystal. There's a slight difference in that.
Okay, good point.
Because you can, in fact, get the boss or the compass on the boss. But as long as you get it before the crystal, it's fine.
But of course, it doesn't usually end up mattering too much because you're usually not going to do every single check in the game. So you never know that your map,
Yeah.
Like, you never know that your map might just be sitting in one of those checks you skipped. So.
Getting the news that it is blind in the back of Meyer for IConIC.
Yep. We're gonna see checks. This will be 13 through 17. 13, 14, 15. No, 13 through 16. I can't count. Oh, 14 through 17. I really can't count. Yeah.
We're one higher than the counter on the screen right now because we skipped torch.
Good point. Because he did not physically take the heart piece off the torch.
Yeah.
They have done most of the checks in the game between the two. We can see here that they've got 16 hearts for Alex and 17 for IConIC, which is usually heart count is a pretty good is a pretty decent indicator for how much of the game you've done, since the hearts are going to be spread throughout the seed, and they've got a lot. Again, will not be an issue for them. 16, 17 hearts, red mail, tempered, silvers. There's
drop! No, our curiosity will never be satisfied.
Assuming that our two bosses on the climb are both vanilla, yeah, we will never know.
Oh, now we're just hoping for Iceland loss.
There are some restrictions on Landmill's 2's arena, so not much. Anything. We don't have the entire thing memorized, at least.
Yeah, I forget. There are restrictions on it. I just don't remember who, because like you can get Trinix in there and you can get Argus in there. And of course, like Argus in there is one of my favorite things to see. Because you only actually have to kill the boss. Argus is in Lamlo too.
Yeah, isn't there something funky about Trinix as well for much the same reason?
Trinix isn't the same reason, but basically what will happen is that technically the game, when you destroy Trinix's shell, because it has loaded into memory, but it can load it off of the super tile, it moves the shell into... So basically what happens is if Trinix will be in Lamlo 2, like the shell will get transported into the room above him, and you will see his feet in the room to the right of him.
Gotcha, yeah, that's... I was trying to think of what that was. That would be it.
It's just...
Crystal Cell.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I was going to say, it's just kind of like how the game handles memory allocation for being on the SNES.
Gotcha. That blinds down for IConIC, so that is crystal number 7. That is a set of Armos Knights, so Landmos is confirmed on Ice today. And a confirmed Vanilla Moldorm, because that's our last repeat. How many ice do you want to see on the Moldorm?
Ooh. 2. Anything more or anything less, I just start getting freaked out by.
Same, honestly. For those who haven't seen it, in all forms of Randomizer, including, you can have even an Randomizer but not Boss Miser, the number of eyes on Moldorm is randomized between 1 and 8. It will be the same for all Moldorms in the seed, but it is random. And I don't think you can get a 0-eyed Moldorm, though that would be something. So yeah, we'll see how many eyes this Moldorm has, because I don't know. 2 is also my preference, because everything else looks strange otherwise. 8 is kind of interesting, at least it's a full circle, but yeah. It's not my favorite thing about Rando, to be honest.
Yeah. Did anybody actually win?
18, closest would have been TT Chaos with 17.
Yeah. Congratulations, TT Chaos. Oh no, it's the one-eyed Moldorm. It just wants it to die. I want you to put it out of its misery.
And the one-eyed Wolorm does just look pathetic. But yeah, you're going to go on with TT Chaos and winning?
Yeah. So congratulations, TT Chaos. You win lots of seeds rolled by a random bot. Because bots roll seeds. People don't roll seeds. Unless it's Tress. Then we just blame Tress.
Always blame Trez. Megatune not cooperating.
That actually wasn't. Yeah, that's unfortunate. That was a pretty good setup for 1 or 2. Just a little off.
Looks like 0-2-2 so far.
Yeah, 2 doubles. Yep, not too bad.
Yeah, R45 entering Ganon here. Fairly long as McBoss goes. Just Ether on Catfish did not play nice with them today.
Yeah, it was a very linear seed for a while. Unfortunately, like we just had a bad hug shot and bad. I mean, we didn't need the ice rod, but the hug shot and the ice rod could like it today.
Yeah. Extra Ice Rod, Alex got trolled by that bow.
Yeah, it looks like both runners are opting to do, like, opted to kind of like push for doing the ice boss last. But we know today it'll be land laws at this point. Alex has gotten through phase 3. Oh no, silver is my true weakness. If only I hadn't put them on the boss, I was guarded by a bow.
Right?
Only gonna get a double there. 1 for a triple was a little too slow getting around Ganon. Oh no.
Oh no, Alex.
And unfortunately take a bump.
Yeah.
Still, this is gonna take quite more than just like 1 bump. Fortunately, this means that we're gonna see completely different patterns now because this RNG is in fact seeded. At least the first time through. So both runners would be getting the same sort of teleport patterns.
Yeah. Once you take a fall or die or leave for any other reason, you are. It will be back to RNG.
I think as long as you save and quit, if you fall into Ganon and you save and quit before the message pops up, the RNG won't change. But once the routine actually starts, yeah. I know in cross keys that sometimes you'll still have. I'm pretty sure you still get the same RNG even if one runner opts to face check the Ganon drop because it could be there, and the other one doesn't, and they just save and quit out of it. Gets a double this time around. There's a single, gonna need 1 more hit. Ooh, just misses. I had to pull up on the dash because they were gonna get hit by the fire bad. And there we go. GG's to Alex for finishing first. They just got across the 1-tile bridge.
Yep. There we go. And GG's to alexjas, finishing up and going to move on to the quarterfinals with a time of 1:48.21.
Yep. we'll be moving on to face ALttPR in the next round.
So, IConIC, they're finding that GT Big Heat just as Alex finished. We'll be finishing the seed out.
Unfortunately, I don't think we'll be getting Alex an interview. Looks like so. Gonna see IConIC go through the gauntlet now, and then slowly discover that in fact it was a dodge land was too, of all things.
Yeah.
And they get to use silvers on Armos for the second round.
Yep.
Honestly, like, you had 2 Armoses and 2 Vitreous. This was a nice seed for some, even if the first time through Vidi was Fighter Sword.
Yeah. They both do a pretty good job with that Vidi, though. It wasn't the most fun, of course, but
yeah.
Fighter Sword Greenmail, like 6 heart or whatever it was, Vidi is never fun.
Yeah, that's one where it's just like, you just have to know the strategy, and then that's a high... It's a very... Like, it takes a lot of execution there just to, like, make sure everything goes right. Because it's not a hard fight, technically. Because, like, you're just spinning.
Yeah.
But, it takes a lot of execution, because, like, one wrong move and it all goes wrong. Like, especially once Vitreous starts hopping around, if you corner you and gets 2 or 3 bops and on you, you're dead.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, if this was like, I should also say technically, it's also much harder for if it was in Vidi's actual vanilla room and you had to deal with the poison. Not being able to deal with the poison makes it a lot easier.
Vidi is still one of the bosses that can't really a lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
The guy's very, very bouncy.
Yeah. There has been some discussion. I haven't really seen if it's fast or not. Like to try to leave one of the smaller eyes alive, so that way you keep the big eye pinned, and you just have to do spins to it. But then you also have to deal with the lag and the lightning. So I'm not sure what is 100% faster.
No, and now IConIC arriving on this really rather sad Voldorm. Well, not even Voldorm, just looks... The singular eye just looks sad.
Gets the spins in. It's gonna rush across.
And IConIC will also be done in a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Kind of curious to see what the collection rate's going to be for Alex. They did a little fewer checks than IConIC, but they did full clear most of the seed between the 2 of them.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably going to be in the 180s, I'd imagine.
180s for IConIC, maybe a little less for Alex.
Yeah, something like that.
At least 60.
I mean, we full cleared TR, full cleared pod, full cleared Swamp, basically.
Did most of GT.
Yeah, almost all GT except for Tile Room and the big chest and a couple checks upstairs. Alex get the bottomless Ice Palace at both 3 or 4 checks in Ice Palace after getting the bow.
Into the back of Thieves.
Like it's enough where it's probably like 2 dozen, at least 2 dozen checks that Alex skipped. 2 or 3 dozen. I don't think it's going to be much more than that.
No. Alright, Cannon fall. Brain. Cannon arrival here for IConIC.
Yep. Off tickets start with 1-1. Really nice cannon position for the 1-1. Obviously, for those who haven't ever seen this before, for the very first 2 phases of the game, you need to do 12 Tempered Sword strikes, or some combination thereof, but to count the whole. The first 2 phases of the North, which get on to phase 3, which is this platform. If you don't hit Ganon before he raises his arms, he'll shoot fire bats at you, which becomes really annoying as the platform brings. And then phase 4, we're just going to have to light him up with some silver arrows. Better positioning for IConIC and that first strike than Alex managed.
I'll just barely missed a triple, and
yeah, this should. Yeah, okay, that's it. GG's.
We're gonna cross the bridge and wrap up his tournament run here.
Yeah. And IConIC has finished with a race time GG time of 1:54.26. GG's. Unfortunately, also not able to take an interview today, so I don't know if we're kind of left with nothing left to start.
No, I think we pretty much covered everything while waiting for IConIC to wrap. 6 minutes, just over 6 minutes difference. Pretty close race. Very trolly race at see, but that's how random will do sometimes.
Yeah, some items in some pretty bad places for kind of where everything else was, especially with a mid start for Dark World.
Yeah.
So.
Alex's opinion was F catfish in the race time.
Yeah.
But no, GG's. So please do give both of our runners here a follow, alexjas and IConIC, as well as my co-comp Top Al and our tracker Daruk. You can see the challenge there in the chat, as Alex will be going on to face Adirondack Rick in the quarterfinals next.
You don't actually have to give me a follow. I don't stream. Like the last thing, the only clip I laid on my channel is like the original Watch Dogs. For reference, I haven't streamed in years. But GG's there. Yes. Please give everybody a follow. Candle for sale.
Yay. And 172. I'm not surprised there. Relax.
Yeah. IConIC will definitely be the one. He overcleared a lot more than Alex managed to.
Yeah, we can see on his personal tracker that he's lit up. He's got only a couple of green squares left, and it's pretty much all just dungeon checks here and there. Gets VT, Swamp Big Chest. One thing in ice, maybe. Desert. Yeah, not much. But see, coming up on the CSR schedule, we do have a very, very busy Saturday. Currently over on CSR Main, we've got the Majorsk Mask Randomizer Standard Weekly Race. They are preparing for their Season 4 tournaments, so they're starting to race those settings. On CSR... No, that's on CSR 4's MMR. I can't apparently read the thing. CSR 2 right now has the Ocarina of Time Randomizer DDR Weekly Race, also setting up for their next tournament. 2 p.m. Eastern here on this channel, so in just under an hour, we'll have the Winter Randomizer Minute Blitz Tournament Group Nehru Winners Bracket Finals between Blank's Eye and Margot in the Moonlight. We also have we're also going to have at 3 p.m. Eastern on CSR 3, we'll have the Skyward Sword Randomizer Weekly Race. At 6 p.m. Eastern, we'll have the Ocarina of Time Weekly Race, or Ocarina of Time Randomizer Standard NE Weekly Race. And then at 7:10 p.m. Eastern tonight, we'll have another Link to the Past Randomizer Challenge Cup match. Another Game 3, we'll have Pi versus Cademan. Likely to be over on CSR 2 at the moment, I believe. Tomorrow, we have the Ocarina of Time Randomizer Standard E Weekly Race at 9 a.m. Eastern. We'll also have another ALttPR CC match. So this will be between Magno and Kaysen, group brackets round 3. Game 2 will be at noon Eastern, and if we find a crew in, if it is needed, we will have Magno and Kaysen's Game 3 following immediately after. But that is it for me. Any last thoughts before I take us on out of here, I think?
No. GG's, and thanks for the good morning and good afternoon. Working together.
Yeah, thank you, Tafile. Thank you for watching, all, and we will see you another time.